Hey, what's going on everybody? John Walker back again with another Digital Juice tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to take three separate templates and put them together as if they were one. That may sound kind of vague, but let me give you a little background here. I'm going to take these three templates. I'm going to take this straightforward template, which has this 3D text, and it's got this cool sword and armor thing at the end with a shield. I like that. Some cool 3D text. We're going to take that guy, and we're going to use that in conjunction with this heavenly feeling one, which has this love story, Romeo and love, and it's got the clouds and a lot of foreground perspective and elements that are very cool. And then we're going to also combine that with this sunrise island right here, which is this sunrise and has a movie trailer kind of feel to it. We're going to combine all of those to create something that looks like this. Now, this is something that is more of a kind of church promo. There are a lot of churches that are doing more multimedia production nowadays, and whenever they do sermons or they have a theme they want to get across in Sunday during a mass or church or whatever you go to, they let's say faith, hope, and help is kind of the overall message, and they wanted to use a Bible verse to sort of get that across. Well, I found a Bible verse that had I kind of picked it apart. It's not verbatim because I wanted it to end. It actually is in reverse. It's, those who hope in the Lord renew their strength and they will soar on wings like eagles. But that didn't really fit with the flow of the ad. And so I wanted to put it together where it made more sense. And so, those who hope, they renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles, those who hope in the Lord. And it gives you what the Bible verse is, and then this little tag of the kind of the branding of maybe this is something like this year that the church is focusing on faith, hope, and help, and I came up with this little tag and this logo. But this part, this is not a template. This is just something simple I created. But what I'm going to show you today is how to combine all these together to make it look like they fit and they were meant to go together. So let's go inside of After Effects and let's show you how it's done. So I've brought all of my juice products here into After Effects, my Toxic Type Collection 8 themes that I brought in here, these three templates. And I'm going to open them up. The first one I've already got open here is this Sunrise Island. And I'll show you what this is. This is that, like I said, the sun coming up kind of over the horizon. And we don't want that part, and we don't want that part. We want this part, the tails of the golden ring. We want this last part here. But there is something from this we do want in this second composition. Now, I don't want to delete anything in case I want to go back. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to shut off the eyeball here. I'm going to hit F4 to toggle my switches and modes, and I'm going to hit the little shy switch on this, and then I'm going to hit that shy switch to hide them away. And so inside of this comp, all I want is the end flare. So I'm going to double click to open the comp, turn off the hide shy switch layers, and I'm going to just hold down Shift and click all of these layers that say lens flare here at the very top, and I'm going to hit the solo button because all I want are the flares. I could go through and turn everything off, but this just reassures me that the only thing I'm getting is these three layers when I solo it. So I'm going to close that. Let me go back into this timeline here, and I'm going to back up to right before the flare starts. I'm going to hit B on my keyboard, and then I'm going to right-click and hit Trim Comp to Work Area. And what that's going to do is just leave me with, I got my flare, and then that comes down, and there it is. It says Tales of the Golden Ring, and then that goes out, and that's all I want. So I'm going to stop right there on this comp, and we're going to move on to our next one, this Heavenly Feeling. So I'm going to twirl this down. I'm going to double-click my main comp here, the Heavenly Feeling, and all I want from here is I want this middle one, this second one right here that goes in between the two rocks. So we got this big rock and then wiped away by this other rock. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unshy everything because there's some hidden stuff here. I'm going to get all these fractal noise layers, hold down Shift, and click and highlight all of these, turn off the eyeball here so that shuts off all that fractal noise. And then I'm going to turn off segments 3 through 6. I'm just going to shut these off, and I'm going to also turn on the shy switch on these guys. So now when I hit the shy switch, all I've got are my first 2 comps, okay? So I'm going to go to the end. I'm going to hold shift and go to the end of this comp, and I'm going to hit the letter N, right-click, trim comp to work area. So now all I've got are my first 2 comps. So you'll see it goes, it starts out, and then we're going to wipe to transparency. Well, we don't want the beginning of this. We don't want this background. We want this rock, but we don't want anything else. So I'm going to double-click. I'm going to unshy all the hidden layers in here. Mount 1, this is the part that I want. I'm going to solo that layer, okay? And if I turn on my transparency in the background, you can see now all I've got is this rock. So there's the rock. It goes from transparency, wipes on this scene, transparency, we're going to wipe out, which works. And we've got a little issue we're going to have to deal with. We've got this pops on, if you'll notice, right there when it starts. So we'll fix that here in a minute, but we've got this prepped. So now we're going to go on to our third comp here. We're going to go to straightforward. We're going to get this main comp. And the only thing we want out of here is I want this one, I want the second one, and then I want the fourth one that's got the shield, okay? So I'm going to grab these 2 guys. I'm going to hold down Command on Mac, Control on Windows, so I can just select this one. And then I'm going to click the shy layer, and then I'm going to hide these, and then I'm going to shy them. And then I'm going to scoot this guy over. I'm going to go to the beginning of this comp. I'm going to hit B, go to the end of this one. I'm going to hit N, right-click, trim comp to work area. And so now I've got these 2 comps. And this has a flare in the beginning of it. I don't want that, so I'm going to double-click and get inside of this comp. I'm going to unshy everything. Everything except this last flare. I want this last flare, but I want all these other flares right here all to be turned off. Leave this flare 5. We want this one, but we want these other flares turned off. So there you go. So now that big flare, flash flare in the beginning is gone. So now it goes from just this, my text flies on, flare, and then we just got to line up these flares. So when this flare gets to its maximum point, okay, I'm going to scoot this one over because this one pretty much starts at its maximum point. But you'll notice we've got a thing. So it kind of looks seamless, but this flare is going from left to right, or excuse me, right to left, and then this one goes from left to right. So we need to fix that. So I'm going to go in this comp, double-click the one I was just in, click on this flare 4. I'm going to hit U to bring up my keyframes. I'm going to go to flare center, click on it so it'll highlight all my keyframes. Right-click, keyframe assistant, time reverse keyframes. So now I'm going to scoot these over, holding down shift so it'll snap to the ones below. I'm going to close this now, and you'll see they're going in the same direction. So it's going from left to right, wiping across, and matching up with here left to right. So I'm going to go to the end of this guy. I'm going to hit N, right-click, trim comp to work area. And so kind of all the setup now is done, okay? So what I want to do is I want to put all these in the same composition. So I'm going to open Heavenly Feeling, the Sunrise Island. I'm going to click all the main comps. I'm going to click Sunrise first. I'm going to click Heavenly second while holding Control on Windows, Command on Mac, and then Straightforward third. I'm going to drag them onto my new composition button here. I'm going to make sure I have a single composition selected and want the layers to sequence. Click OK. So now they were all in the same comp. We're going to have to do some finessing here, but that's fine. They're all in the same comp now. I'm going to take this Heavenly Feeling one. I'm going to move it up to the top because this has our transparencies with our rocks. Let me turn on transparency for the composition. You'll see. So see, we've got our transparency with our rocks. So what I want to do, I want to fix something in my composition first. It starts at 18 seconds. I'm going to hit Command K on Mac, Control K on Windows. I'm going to say start timecode 0 and hit enter. And so now it starts at 0. So for 5 seconds, I'm going to go to the 5-second mark. That's where I want my rocks to start to appear. So I'm just going to drag this over until I start seeing the rocks right about there. So right before there. And then I'm just going to trim this back. I'm going to hold down shift and that'll snap because I don't need any of that transparency. So there's that. And then my rocks are going to start to move in. And then we're going to go to where they move out. And right before that gets there, I'm going to drag this comp over. Now we're going to run into a problem here as well, because if I move it over, Okay, and by the time the rock moves, my 3D text is already up. I want that to animate on. So let's wait till the rock is completely out. Now scoot my comp down. Okay, and then we're going to have to do a time remap here. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to time, enable time remapping. And then I'm going to go back to where the rock starts, right about there. Shift, and that'll snap that there. With this is freeze framed, which is fine because you won't really notice anything happening. So when that rock moves out, now the animation happens, and then our shield comes in, and then we're out. If I turn off transparency, it'll go to black, so don't worry about that. And if I'm going to go to the end here. I'm going to hold down Shift, hit N, right click, trim comp to work area. There you go. The basic animation is done. Now we just got to change the text and make everything look like it's supposed to be together. So here's what we're going to do first. We're going to get inside of this golden ring comp. I'm going to double click, and then I'm going to go to this one, double click, and then I'm going to go to text. There's one called text, and all the text layers here are the same. So if you click in one of them, it'll change all of them. Digital Juice did a really good job of labeling all this stuff, so it's easy for you to get inside and customize. So I'm going to go to Edit Text, and there it is, my Tales of the Golden Ring. So what I want to do is, they did a lot of stuff kind of finessing this text, and I'm not going to use any of that. So I'm going to go up to my character palette, click on this drop-down menu, and go to Reset Character. And that just resets everything. I'm also going to use this Align window, which if you don't see that, go to Window, Align. And I'm going to align everything to the comp horizontally and vertically, so it's in the dead center. And in this one, I'm going to call, let's see, Those Who Hope. So I'm going to change it. I'm going to make 2 lines of text instead of just one. Let me realign that. And I'm going to change the font to this. I downloaded this. I found this free font really liked, and I wanted to use it, and it's called Nexa Bold. And I'm going to use that. And let me scale that up, about 75. And then I'm going to duplicate it, Command D on Mac, Control D on Windows, move that down and double click. I believe I said Find Strength. Let me go back to my render. Renew Strength. So Those Who Hope, Renew Strength. All right, let me just move that down. All right, and then I'm going to highlight both of these, hold down Shift. I'm going to make them all caps. And on this top layer, I'm going to make this small caps here. Just click that option. And there you go. Those Who Hope, Renew Strength. So I'm going to Command W on Mac, Control W on Windows to close my tab here. You can see it's already taken on all the characteristics because all I did was edit the text. And there we are. Those Who Hope, Renew Strength. And if you want to make it bigger, you can just go in and make the text bigger inside of here. Highlight both of these. Just scale that up. And then readjust so everything is lined up nicely. Hit Command W on Mac, Control W on Windows to close. And there we are. We have bigger text. And so, just prefer you design it to taste and then do whatever you need to do. Now, one thing we got going on here is we've got this purple sky. Now, I decided I wanted everything to be blue because I want it to have this blue theme going through it. I thought that looked the best. So I'm going to double click and go inside of my cloud comp here. And you'll see we have this horizon light. I'm going to double click and get inside of there. And here it is. If I click on this royal blue, or this blue solid, excuse me, you'll see it's this purple solid that's over the clouds. It's sort of tinting everything. And what I want to do is just make that blue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a hue saturation effect. So if you go up to your effects and presets window, start typing hue, you'll see hue saturation pop up. You can double click and that will apply it to the layer. If you have the layer selected, be sure you have it selected before you double click and try to do that. Then I'm going to hit colorize, and I know that 210 is blue because I've done this before. Let me turn up my saturation. I'm going to turn it up to 100. And so now we have a blue sky. So if I hit Command W, and you'll see, there it is, blue sky. I want to keep the golden sun, though, because the sun is golden. It's yellow. So I'm going to keep that. And so there we are. We have our blue sky. We get a little bit of a purple tinge. You can reapply a hue saturation to this blue solid down here and do the same thing. Colorize 210, 100. Now the sky is just a little more blue, not quite as purple. So that's done. That part finished. Command W and close. So it's going to flare up. Those who renew have strength. And then the rocks are going to wipe on our next part. Now, this is where we're going to fix this little pop it on effect here, okay? If you double click inside of the Heavenly Feeling comp, I'm going to copy this segment here. I'm going to hit Command C. I'm going to shut the eyeball off. I'm going to go back out to my main composition where everything lives. I'm going to hit Command V, and then I'm going to line that up with the beginning right here. You can see where this has been, where I trimmed it. It goes all the way to here. We want to line it up with where it actually begins, right there. So now my rock is going to move in at the same speed on the exact same timing. And when we get to where it pops on, let me double click so I can get right to that layer. Right here is where it pops on. So if you go to there and then go back out to the main composition, your cursor will be in the exact same spot. So you can set a keyframe on, let's do a linear wipe. Go into Effects and Presets and type linear. Drag that over. Set a keyframe for transition completion. And just see how it starts to wipe away. Just wipe it until you can't see it. And then scoot down until the rock completely covers the other composition. And then let's just bring that back to 0. And now when the rock moves away, there you are. And now we're in our second part. So we're going to double click inside the Heavenly Feeling again and double click and get into segment 2. And all we want to do here, we want to change the text to make some stuff blue. So I'm going to turn off my Shy Layer switch, and you'll see that it reveals everything here. And there is our text, Edit Text to, double click. You'll get inside of it, and there we are. And what I want to do is I'm going to highlight both of these. There wasn't a whole lot done to these texts. I'm going to make this 100%. I'm going to change it to Nexa Bold. I'm going to make it white. And then I want no outline. And it's got some effects that are applied to it. And since both of these are highlighted, I can just hit Command-Shift-E on Mac, Control-Shift-E on Windows, and that will delete all of the effects that have been applied to it. So now I'm going to highlight these, and I'll also change the kerning back to 0. And now I'm going to change my font. And I believe it said, well, those who hope renew strength. And then the next part said, they will soar on wings like eagles. So the top part, they will soar. I'm going to type on wings. And then the bottom part, like eagles. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab both of them, all caps, grab the top one, small caps. And then we need to make it gold. Now, it was an orangey gold, which I don't want to do that. I want to make it match to the kind of the golden gold that we've been using for everything else. So I'm going to go inside my straightforward here, and I'm going to show you a little trick. This text, they made some cool 3D text, and they created kind of a texture on top of it, and I want to steal that texture. So I'm going to go inside my 3D text. I'm going to go back real quick in case you didn't catch that. The straightforward one, the one with our cool shield, make sure you unshy everything, go down to the 3D text, double click, and then unshy everything inside of here, and then double click inside of the one called BG for background. And there it is. There's our gold texture. So I'm going to Command C on Mac, Control C on Windows. Let me close these tabs. And then I'm going to paste it into my comp here. I'm going to hit F4 to switch my modes, and I'm going to turn on Track Matte, which will use the transparency of the text and just kind of cut out that metal background. And now I have this golden sheen over the top of my text. So if I close out here, you'll see, boom, they will soar on wings like eagles. And then you can scale it up inside the comp here because these don't have any, there's a camera that's animating, so they don't have keyframes. So you can just scale this up. And something like that looks pretty good. Now we want to make the background a little more blue. We got a lot of orange going on. So go down to the very bottom. There's this photo filter that's applied. Just click on that, make that like a sky blue. And then the clouds have these orange highlights, and I want to change that. So just go inside of any of these Cloud 6 comps, and I'm going to, there's a few layers that have some orange going on. You got this photo filter. So just go to any layer that's got the photo filter and turn that off. Turn that off, and there it is. It's gone. So now there's no orange you can see in there. I only had to turn off 2 layers. Let me go back. There it is. Now we have kind of blue and white clouds. I'm going to keep this little golden highlight here because we've got our golden text. But other than that, you can leave everything blue. And guess what? That segment is now done. So we're wiping across. There it is. There's our rock cutting in front. And there's our second segment in the books. And then that's going to wipe away to our next part. And what we got to do here is change the backgrounds to blue. So I'm going to double click into our final comp here. Double click into this first one. Make sure you've got everything unshied, which you should if you had changed your text already. Go to your background. I'm going to click on this and just make it a blue color on this ramp effect. And then I'm going to copy this ramp effect, Command-C on Mac, Control-C on Windows. And I'm going to paste that into the background with my shield also. So double-click, unshy all of the layers, go down to the very bottom. Click on the background, Command-V on Mac, Control-V on Windows. Now we've got all blue. So I'm going to go back into this one. This has a very golden text, and we don't really want that. We want it to be that, more realistic gold. And so I'm going to go inside my 3D text. First, I'm going to change it. So double click inside the comp, and I'm going to change it from what happens to those who hope in. I'm going to scale this down. I'm going to change the font to my Nexa. Something like that's pretty good. And you can check and make sure that it is aligned. And there, now it's in the center. So I'm going to close this. And so there's that, those who hope in. And I'm going to change, it's got a curves effect. I'm just going to shut that off. And then I'm going to add the hue saturation and just pull back the saturation a little bit. So I'm going to type hue, and there it is, hue saturation. Just tone that down. About -50 is good, -49, -50. And those flares are a little too golden for my taste also. So I'm going to click on this raise layer. And it's actually the flare layer. So let's go to the flare. And I'm going to, instead of trying to find it and tweak it exactly, just pop a little hue saturation on there, hit colorize, use my settings from earlier for blue, which were 210, saturation about 50. Then just hit Command-C and copy that and put that on this flare 5 here, paste. So now that's blue. And you can adjust that other flare part if you want to. I'm going to leave that. I think that's fine. And if you want to touch it a little closer to the text, you can hit A and adjust the anchor point. And these are all parented together. So if you're on the flare, everything will move. And go down to flare 6 and do the same thing. Hit A for anchor point. These have keyframe data on them, so I don't want to change the position keyframes. So I'm just adjusting the anchor point. So there's that. So those come in. So close that. Now we got to adjust our shield layer. So let's double click and let's get inside of the straightforward comp. We go to my shield, double click. Make sure you've unshied everything. And let's go to the same thing. We're going to go to our text. So this one has the Warrior of Love. And we want to just go into where it says the Warrior. Double click on the text. I'm going to leave it in the font that it is because I think this font goes better with that love. It is a particular font and it is customized. And I know normally you don't do that. You try to have the same fonts throughout, but I like this old style. I think it's got a very cool look. It's very biblical also, I think. So I think it's right for this theme. So I'm going to go into the love. I'm going to double click. And luckily, love and Lord are very close to one another. So you can just change 2 letters. And there's some masking on here. So if you go to this black solid, turn on your show masks, you'll see that on the text and on the black solid, there's some masking. So go to your text, delete the second mask, and that will fix your R. And then you can go in and adjust. It's not exactly perfect. If you look closely, you can see. So you can go in and adjust your mask accordingly so it looks nice. Because the L of this font actually is not this L. So the guys at Juice kind of cheated it so it would look cool, and it looks really good, and I want to keep that. So that's what I'm going to do. So there we go. So it was a quick adjustment, and now I've got Lord, and if I Command W, Control W on Windows, close, there it is. And there it is, the Lord. So I'm going to close. I took the swords away. You can leave the swords if you want to. I just wanted it to not have that kind of military theme. I wanted it to be more of just all love, but you can leave it if you want to. You can do whatever. You can change the color of it. You could probably go in and try to manipulate that heart into something else if you wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it as a heart. And guess what, kids? We're done. So let's do a quick RAM preview and see what we've got. And there we go. You've got your text, which you could adjust the text to be a little closer to that sun flare if you wanted to, but then it goes to the clouds, and we've got our eagles, and the rocks nicely wipe on our next scene with those who hope in the Lord, and boom. And I just realized I didn't cut out that little triple text thing that you noticed here. If you look on my last comp, I totally forgot. But that's easy to take out where it says the warrior of love. If I double click inside of here, double click, and that where it has 3D text, you'll see, yep, all these 3D text layers. Just click and highlight and shut them off. And there you go. It's gone. And you may have to do that with however you customize it. You may run into some little snafus that, oh, I didn't shut this off. Oh, I didn't shut that off. You may have to go in and do some experimenting on what you want to shut off and make sure that you've got turned off. So that way you don't have happen to you what happened to me and you got some little thing pop up. But I think it's pretty awesome. I think it looks really good. And for not a lot of work, I was able to combine some things that are they perfectly, matched? No, but they're three completely different styles and templates. You got to remember that we're trying to put something together that looks like it's, different, but the same. And I think it has a nice natural progression. We go from Earth with a sunrise to the clouds, to the heavens, to space, and then we got the cool shield. And I just think it looks really neat. And you ask me, John, but how did you do the tag? Well, the tag was really simple. Make a new composition here and show you really quickly. I did a background solid of just the blue to kind of try to match. And then I made a new solid that was white. And then I shut that off and literally did some masks. Or I did like one mask like this, and then one mask like this, and made a cross. Turn that back on. And it kind of looks like the Swiss flag or something. But if you highlight both of the masks and then double click, it'll allow you to rotate both of them at the same time. And then I just kind of scaled it up. Just kind of get a cool skew angle of a cross here. And then what I did is I took the text from this comp, and you'll have to duplicate it. You don't want to use the same text or you'll mess up your old text, but you get this 3D text here. I'm going to right click, reveal layer source and project, click on this, Command D on Mac, Control D on Windows, go back into my new comp here, this comp 1. I'm going to drop the 3D text in, go inside the 3D text, and you're going to have to change some other stuff. Go to this edit text, right click, reveal layer source and project, duplicate that, and then highlight all of these layers, including the bevel. You have to get everything that says that SG2 edit text. Highlight all of them. Make sure you get all of them. I'm holding down Command on Mac, Control on Windows. And then if you just hold down Alt and drag it down to the timeline, they will switch out. So now, if you go inside of here, and I just put down the Bible verse, I did like a plus ISA 4021 or ISA. So like that, and then come back out, and boom, there it is with our gold applied to it. And we're inside of here, and then I just added a vignette. I did another solid, made it black. Added my good friend, the circle effect. Inverted it, made it a black circle. Radius way up. Feather way up. And then I added also a light. I made hit F4, make these layers all 3D, except for that text. I don't want that text. And then I did a new light, which the shortcut is Command Alt Shift L. I made a new light with the intensity of like 500%. moved it way up against the background because I just wanted this kind of like hotspot. And then I adjusted that from there. So, I mean, it's just, I wanted to show you mainly the text trick, how you can just copy and create a preset out of their text. And I even copied some of the particles and some of the other effects over and just pasted it in there. And it was really easy to do. And I was able to kind of create a tag that went with the theme that I had already created. So I hope that you learned something here. I hope that you saw how easy it is to customize these templates and how easy it is to just take something and combine it. You can even do this with products, different products. You can take something from Toxic Type and try to combine it with something from Motion Designer's Toolkit or some of the AE Ready to Go templates. So there's really endless possibilities on how you can put this stuff together and create new stuff. But if you have any questions, feel free to comment below and I'll try to get back to you. Or I have a blog and you can go over there and email me and contact me through that. It's johnwilliamwalker.com. Send me a question and I'll try to answer it as best I can and give you some After Effects knowledge, because that's what I'm here for, is to show you how to use all these Digital Juice products and make your stuff look really cool. I hope you had a good time as I did, and I will talk to you again soon. My name is John Walker. Thanks for watching.